Hey guys, welcome back to Great Reviews. My name's Chris, and today I checked out Shelby Oaks. I'm a little late to this one, but it just hit streaming. I was interested in this movie for a couple of reasons. One, because one of the actors in the film, the guy behind the camera of all the found footage stuff, I forget his character name, played by Eric Mellaragni, is the lead in my film, Transient. He's also in my upcoming film, Creature of the Pines. So, obviously wanted to check this one out, but there's a lot of hype for this because this is a film by Chris Stuckmann. I know he ran a very, very successful crowdfunding campaign. If you aren't aware of who he is, he's a very, very popular film critic on YouTube. He's been around for a long time. I was never like a fan of his stuff and didn't have a problem with him. I just never really watched his stuff. I did check out some of his short films a while ago, and I thought that they were not great, but I was excited at the possibility of somebody, going from YouTube into the film world and having a very successful career, and I think that's definitely a possibility for him. But this movie, I think, has a lot of problems, but it has a lot of good things about it too. But I think the first thing up front is let's talk about the Chris Stuckmann aspect. It seems like there's a lot of people very critical of it, and maybe the expectations were high or somewhere in that they were expecting some like very unique thing because it's this YouTuber making a movie and not just a no-name director making a modestly budgeted horror movie. And in the end, what I would describe this movie as is a decently budgeted, pretty schlocky horror movie with some good elements and some weak elements, and overall a fairly entertaining film. And all that being said, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think people were maybe expecting some, like, I don't know, just something very unique or something from him, and I'm not sure why. Let's talk about the movie itself, though. I know his crowdfunding campaign was originally like $1 million, something like that. I don't know what the budget ended up being for this film, but it seems fairly high, all things considered, compared to your very low budget horror movies. This one has a very, very high quality production value in its lighting and its camera work and stuff like that. There's clearly some money involved in this thing. Some recognizable actors, like Keith David's in a scene, in one of the worst scenes in the film, which was weird because he's an awesome actor. But in a lot of ways, also this movie feels like maybe the studio involvement in this production maybe felt like there's like too many hands in the cookie jar kind of feel. I don't know what the original concept for the film was, and maybe this was it, but it is kind of a mess insofar as the framing devices for the film, because it opens with found footage and moves into the mockumentary territory, which those two obviously mesh very well together. But the problem is it goes from found footage to mockumentary to traditional cinematic filmmaking, back to a little bit of the mockumentary stuff, all while interjecting the found footage, and it just kind of feels off for the viewer. The mockumentary stuff is very exposition heavy. And obviously so, when you have people doing interviews, they're just expounding, talking points. And so that's a good, easy way to quickly get story across. But then to switch over to traditional narrative storytelling, it's a little jarring, I'm not gonna lie. And not to say that any of those aspects aren't done well, they're done all right. It's just, I don't know, all these kind of storytelling methods all jumbled together kind of feel a little bit inconsistent or incoherent with each other. But I think the weakest part of this movie is honestly just the writing. There is a ton of plot convenience in this film and a ton of weird character choices that also feel convenient to move the story along and nonsensical in a lot of ways. But the biggest thing I would say is, why is the movie called Shelby Oaks? I get that these people died and this girl went missing in Shelby Oaks, but other than that, it doesn't really have anything to do with Shelby Oaks. So it's weird. It's trying to paint a mystery there that doesn't really exist. And when the movie is resolved, it really has nothing to do with it being Shelby Oaks. So I don't know. I also struggle with our lead character and her motivations. I get her sister went missing, but it's been 12 years and she acted like it was yesterday. And I get that scar is still always there, and and new things bring up the grief and all that stuff, but she seems unhinged in a way that doesn't seem, I don't know, completely believable to me, I guess. I also don't quite understand like the last third of the movie. It feels like our character goes one place to another place, ends up at a place, and I just don't even quite understand why. I get there was a clue and a breadcrumb to lead to the one place, but then where she ends up, it's like, how do we get there beyond it just being in the script and no actual justification for our character's motivation in doing so? Let's talk about some of the horror elements. There is some creepy aspects to the movie. There's a sequence where you see like a demon in a window, and I thought that was highly effective. Other than that, there's a lot of dodgy CGI that kind of takes me out of the film with the demon. None of the found footage sequences were particularly scary or anything like that. The movie does have a kind of somber, creepy tone to the whole thing. A lot of it makes me feels like they're trying to elicit this emotion out of me because our lead actress always looks like she's on the verge of tears, and for a good portion of the beginning of the movie, she has her face covered in blood and never bothers to wipe it off, which was honestly a little bit distracting. There's other little things that kind of bothered me, like she drives like a truck from the 70s. She goes into an asylum and has like a flashlight lit that also looks like it's from the 70s, and I get it like looks aesthetically cool, but it just, I don't know, it kind of, again, distracted me. I don't know why it was in the film. So some of that is definitely nitpicky, and I think there is something interesting in here to every aspect of the movie, honestly. The genre blending or the storytelling blending is interesting. The story itself has some interesting elements to it as well. And I do see the inspirations of like the Blair Witch and Hereditary that Chris Stuckmann is kind of pulling from. However, sometimes those things pushed together, they don't really seem to go or mesh well. So for a lot of the movie I was interested, but there was some pacing issues and a lot of moments where our lead actress is just looking off screen at something and it's never quite revealed, or it's not satisfactorily revealed. That's what satisfactorily? Yeah. So to sum it up, yeah, the movie looks great. I'll give it that. And there are some decent performances at times. But overall, I found the story to be kind of a mixed bag. At points early on, I was very interested in where this was going to go, but by the halfway mark, I very quickly started to lose interest in what was eventually revealed to me. So that's what I thought of Shelby Oaks. I don't know. Did you guys see it? What did you think? Let me know if there's any new movies I should be checking out, and I'll catch you here next time, guys. Goodbye.